Hi, everyone. Thank you for working on the exercise 2. Let's work on the research findings together. For the exercise 2, we are going to use the same dataset, week 6 exercise datasets, for 4 analysis. They are correlation, t-test, ANOVA, and multiple regression. The only difference here is we are using cognitive engagement as the dependent variable in this exercise. I would like you to work on this exercise because, well, if you practice more, you know about the way on how to work on this analysis. So I'm using similar research questions for you to do more exercise. For the first research question, we work on the correlation. We will try to explore the relationship among different variables, including gender, age, education, job tenure, and cognitive engagement. The correlation output, including the mean score in the descriptive table and R and P values in the correlation table. The procedures for the data analysis, let me see. All right. First, we click on Analyze, Correlate, Bivariate, and we put all the key variables, gender, age, education level, and tenure, as well as the cognitive engagement and time free under the variable box. We click on Pearson correlation coefficients option. We click on means and standard deviation, continue, and OK. And here is the findings for the first research questions, correlation. And here is the mean score. And particularly, we are interested in the average mean score for cognitive engagement and time free. Out of 7 points, the average score for cognitive engagement is 5.79 something. And from the correlation table, we can see that there is a positive relationship between age and cognitive engagement. And we can conclude that there is a positive relationship between the two variables with the p-value less than 0.05, 1 star. And the coefficient is 0.18. We can conclude that as long as when the age is increased and the cognitive engagement would also be increased. And well, we can also find that indeed, well, this is quite controversial. And some people, if they take the decimal place, and well, we can consider this as less than 0.05. And well, I could conclude that this is marginally significant. Or sometimes, well, you can say that this is not significant. There is a negative relationship between education and cognitive engagement, negative relationship. And so, well, we got the intention that as long as the education level increased, the cognitive engagement seems to be decreased, the negative relationship. And then we move on to the second research question, that is there a significant difference in cognitive engagement for male and female employees? The dependent variable is cognitive engagement, and the independent variable is gender. And here with 2 categories, and so we will perform t-test to find whether there is a significant difference. The t-test output, we will refer to the mean score in the group statistic table, and also the Levene statistic and the corresponding p-value, as well as the p-value of the t-test for equality of means and mean difference from the independent sample test. For the data analysis, first we click on Analyze, then Compare Means, and we choose the independent sample t-test. We put gender here under the grouping variable and define the group 1 as 1, that is the female, and 2, that is male. Continue. And we also put a dependent variable cognitive engagement under the test variable. On the right hand side, we choose option. Make sure that the CI percentage is 95%. Click continue and OK. And here is the research findings for the t-test. We can see the mean score of cognitive engagement for female and male is 5.76 and 5.82 something respectively. And we cannot conclude that whether there is a significant difference in cognitive engagement for these two groups until we look into other test index. First, we will refer to the Levene's test. The statistic shows that the p-value is larger than 0.05. In this case, we have to look into the first row. The first row of the index. We are assuming that there is an equal variance here. And next, we will refer to the significant level from the t-test of the equality of means. And we found that the p-value is larger than 0.05, so we cannot reject the null hypothesis. And well, that is, the cognitive engagement for female and male is the same. Because the mean difference is only 0.03451, the mean difference is too small, it's not significant. Next, we will move on to the question number 3. Is there a difference in cognitive engagement for young, middle-aged, and old employees? The dependent variable here is cognitive engagement, and the independent variable here is age, with 3 categories: young, middle-aged, and old employees. Because there are 3 categories, so we work on ANOVA. For the ANOVA output, first, we will look into the mean score in the descriptive table. Then, we will look into the Levene's statistic and p-values from the test of the homogeneity of variance table. And finally, we will refer to the F statistic and the p-value from the ANOVA table. For the data analysis, first we click on Analyze, Compare Mean, and choose one-way ANOVA. And here we use age as the independent variable. We put age in the factor and the dependent variable cognitive engagement under the dependent list. On the right-hand side options, we choose descriptive, homogeneity of variance test, Brown, Forsyth, and Welch. Click Continue. For the post-hoc analysis, we click on Tukey and Continue and OK. For the research result for question number 3, and as you can see that from the descriptive table, the mean score for young, middle-aged, and old employees are 5 point something. But we still cannot make the conclusion that whether they have a significant difference in the cognitive engagement for these 3 groups until we can look for other index. Next, we will refer to the significant level from the Levene's test. And we found that the p-value is larger than 0.05, so we cannot reject the null hypothesis. And next, referring to the ANOVA index, unfortunately, the p-value is not significant. It's not significant. If we look into the details, the post-hoc analysis, we found that only there is a marginal significant difference between old versus the young employees in terms of their cognitive engagement. But if we answer the question that whether there is a positive relationship, there is a significant difference in cognitive engagement for the three groups, the answer is, unfortunately, they are not. There is no significant difference amongst the three groups, but among them, only the young and old employees seems will have some differences in terms of their cognitive engagement. And the final question is, which is the best predictor of cognitive engagement, gender, age, education, or job tenure when controlling for the cognitive engagement at time 2? The dependent variable here is cognitive engagement. The independent variable are gender, age, education, and job tenure. Because there are more than one IV independent variable, so we will work on the multiple regression. And finally, the control variable is cognitive engagement at time 2. For the output, first, we will refer to the model summary. The R square, as long as there is no control variable, or the R square change. In this case, because we get the control variable, so we should refer to the R square change and the p-value. Second, we will look into the F statistic and p-value for the ANOVA. And finally, the unstandardized or standardized coefficients and their p-values. For the analysis, first, we click on Analyze, Regression, and Linear. The dependent variable is cognitive engagement, so we put it here under the dependent. And then for the control variable, that is the cognitive engagement at time 2, we put in the first steps under the independent box. Then we click on Next and choose the independent variable, gender, age, education level, and job tenure here under the independent box. On the right-hand side, statistic, we have to click on Estimate Model Fit R square change because we include the control variable here, and continue. Options, and for here, we click on the include constants in the equation, the intercept, and finally click on OK. And here is the research findings for question number 4. And so from this, we can see that the R square change is 0.035. For the second step, we put all the independent variable in the second step. Unfortunately, the p-value is not significant. It's not significant. It means that the independent cannot predict the dependent variable cognitive engagement as a whole. And next is the ANOVA test. It seems that the model is okay, but unfortunately, we can see that amongst the 4 independent variables, only age group sounds for significantly related to the dependent variable. And so we can see that the p-value is less than 0.05. In the conclusion, well, we could say that among the four predictor, it seems that only age was likely help in predicting cognitive engagement in this case. But in this, the significant level also is not very obvious, I could say. And for the overall model, sounds well not very good because well most of the independent variables are not supportive in predicting the dependent variable, the cognitive engagement. All right, so last but not the least, I hope that you enjoyed this class, and I strongly recommend you to do more practice because practice makes perfect, especially for SPSS and statistics. All right, if you have any questions, just let me know and send me email. And see you in the seminar. Thank you.